Greetings fellow Arrowverse fans, and welcome to Arrowverse August 2022. And this month we're going to be taking a look at Arrow Season 2. So let's kick things off with the very first episode of Season 2, City of Heroes. Oliver returns to Lian-Yu to escape from Starling City as he failed to do what he returned to do. Felicity and John travel to Lian-Yu, and John prepares to take the parachute down when Felicity thought it was a just in case, and strongly told him no, but of course reluctantly used it afterwards. They pass by a destroyed boat along with the Destro mask from the first season. Felicity accidentally steps on a landmine, much like Oliver did in a flashback. John attempts to disarm until Oliver stops him and swings towards them and grabs Felicity with the bomb going off. Oliver tells him he can't go back to Starling City because he failed it. But John and Felicity convince him to come back, not as a vigilante, but as Oliver Queen. Oliver returns to Starling City and goes to see Thea, who has snatched his club of Verdant, where Rory Harper, her boyfriend, works. The two are back in a relationship, but she finds him bruised and battered from going out at night and having fights with criminals. He points out that someone has to stand for something like the Hood did. Meanwhile, the mayor of Starling City is talking to the district attorney about vigilantes, in which Laurel arrives and is now working for the DA. As the mayor is making a speech, the event is attacked by four men called the Hoods, imposters of the original, who kill the mayor and several cops. One threatens the DA, another threatens Laurel, but she punches him out and later finds a gun aimed at her face. The Hoods leave. Laurel's father, Quentin Lance, arrives and it is revealed that he has been demoted. Oliver arrives and Laurel and him talk about how she regrets sleeping with Oliver, feeling that she cheated on Tommy. Oliver confronts John about being played as he now realizes that he was duped into coming not to save his family's company, but to stop the Hoods. Meanwhile, the Hoods watch the news and are annoyed that despite them killing the mayor, Oliver is still front news. They decide to strike at Oliver. Oliver, along with Felicity and John, meet with Isabel Roadchef about the company buyout, in which she reveals that Oliver has 45% shares, and so does she, but in 48 hours, the last 10% will be available to be bought, and when she buys it, she will own Queen Consolidated. He mentions they can buy it before her, but she points out that his trust fund is not large enough to buy it, and nobody will assist him in buying it, as his family name has been all but destroyed. Before they can continue, the Hoods attack. Oliver is able to get Isabel out, but as he attempts to get Felicity, he has a gun pointed at him until Felicity knocks the guy out with a bat. Oliver grabs Felicity and grabs a chain and jumps out the window before smashing through another, escaping from the Hoods. After the attack, Felicity confronts Oliver for not even trying to stop the Hoods, in which he responds by revealing his secret to the Hoods and Isabel, but Felicity catches him out until he admits about when he puts the hood on. It is the body count. He mentions how when Tommy first found out about him, he was called a murderer. Oliver visits Moira at prison, in which she jokes how all it took was the company to come crashing down for him to take over. He mentions how she saved hundreds of lives, but she points out that hundreds more died. He mentions how he doesn't know how to fight Isabel and save the company, points out that the Queens have no friends left, but Moira points out that they have family. Later in the night, Verdant is attacked by the Hoods looking for Oliver. They threaten a woman's life, in which Roy attacks with them and finds out that one of the Hoods has an anticipated hand. Before he can do anything, one of the Hoods grabs Thea and gets away with her. Oliver arrives and realizes he has to wear the hood again to save his sister. Felicity reveals that she has been doing some remodeling. She even gives Oliver a new bow. Oliver attacks the Hoods and takes them down, even saving the leader from dropping to his death. He chains them up and gives them to Quentin, mentioning how he's trying a new way in stopping crime. Oliver goes to Tommy's grave later and sees Laurel. He mentions how he understands why she can't be in a relationship with him, but he still needs her as a friend. She agrees and tells Oliver how she's going to help the DA in taking down the Hood, much to Oliver's chagrin. Thea visits Moira, mentioning how she was almost killed and that she wants to hate her but can't. The two hug and reconcile. Back at Queen Consolidated, Isabel reveals to Oliver that she has bought 5% of the 10% stock is sweetened by the last of it. Oliver reveals that he has bought the last 5% already with help from Walter Steele, who is now the owner of a major bank in Starling City. Oliver mentions how he and Isabel will be seeing more of each other. He thanks Walter, who admits that despite everything that's happened between him and Moira, he was glad to have Oliver because of Robert. Thea calls Roy, mentioning how she visited her mom and asks if he wants to spend less time on the streets and more with her. He agrees, but finds the woman about to be mugged. He attempts to stop it, but is hit. But before anything can happen, a mysterious woman arrives and takes all of them out, much to the shock of Roy. She leaves. Back at the hideout, Oliver mentions that he is going to take the hood again. It's not to be another vigilante, but it's something else. John points out that the city needs a hero. Then says that he doesn't want to be called the Hood anymore. When John asks what he wants to be called, Oliver looks at one of his arrows. Anyway, in Leanne U, it's been 5 months since they defeated Edward Friars and his crew. Shadow now donning his father's hood. Oliver has been getting better at fighting, even going toe-to-toe with Slade. It also seems that Oliver and Shadow are intimate with one another. They soon pick up a frequency which shows that they are no longer on the island alone. They follow up, but Shadow is quickly captured. Oliver and Slade track them and see 3 men are questioning Shadow. When the leader threatens Shadow, Oliver attacks him and brutalizes him while Slade kills the others. Slade and Shadow are shocked when Oliver is unable to control himself and kills the leader. They realize there are even more men and wonder where they came from. A ship is shown to be nearby, the same one destroyed at the start of the episode. Interesting. So let's take a look at some trivia surrounding this episode. This is the first episode of Arrow to feature Emily Pepper Cards, Colton Haynes, and Manu Bennett as series regulars. Bethany Snow, the news reporter on Channel 52, mentions a particle accelerator being built in Central City, foreshadowing Barry Allen's forthcoming appearances. The particle accelerator is being built by Star Labs, a research company in comics with significant ties to a large number of DC characters. ADA Adam Donner is a reference to Richard Donner, director of the 1978 film Superman. The street where Jeff DeVoe's wife was killed, 52nd Street, is a reference to the DC's New 52. Karen Bell and Ryan Doucette are 2 names shown on the graves of those who were killed in the Glades earthquake. This references to Karen Bell, a film and TV artist, and Ryan Doucette, a producer's assistant during the first season. At the end of the episode, the screen pans to the green-pointed arrow Oliver is holding while saying he wants to be called something else rather than the Hood. This may hint he wants to be called the Green Arrow, the name of the comic book's variation. At the ending, Roy takes on a group of muggers while wearing a red hood, heading towards his futurist arsenal. And now finally, let's take a look at some goofs. When Oliver and Felicity are talking about the Hoods, they describe one as African American, but he looks to be Caucasian. When Thea is being kidnapped, Colton Haynes' stunt double can be seen clearly. During the flashback to Lee NU, after Oliver killed the man attacking Shadow, his face is covered, splattered with blood in one shot, then covered in smeared blood, then completely clean. Interesting. So that's the first episode of Season 2. I think this episode is pretty good and definitely establishes a lot of things that are going to be happening throughout the rest of the season. So, yeah. So overall, I give City of Heroes 4 arrowheads out of 5. Anyway, join me as join me in bed as we take the next episode, Identity. So until then, in the words of my favorite superhero, I'm here to fight for truth, justice, and a better tomorrow.